Welcome to the process. It is Thursday, December 9th. Almost had it. I am Josh Engelman, and I am here to break down a very simple 3-game NBA slate. Nothing too crazy for today. Coming off of yesterday's 13-gamer, which I tried to get updated yesterday before I had to head out and could not get that done. So apologies for that one, but we're back and better than ever today. 3 games is easy, too, so nothing to worry about on that end. Jazz, Philly, Lakers, Grizz, Nuggets, Spurs. That's what we got on the docket for today. But what we really need is for you guys to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Let's run those likes up today. It feels like a good Thursday. It's good to see everybody in chat. I see a lot of coffee cups. I see a lot of good mornings. Good morning to all of you that are here. It's always fun to get the day started off like this. I don't have too much to add here, other than I'm kind of bummed that I missed a Monster Jokic day, given how much I've been playing him as of late. Not being there for the day where he goes for 39, 10, and 10 or something crazy. I think it was even bigger than that. Wish I would have been around for it, but alas, we move on. So I say we just get into it right out of the gate. I know it's usually a bit of a slow trickle, given the fact that this is 6:30 a.m. Eastern time. That is quite the early one, but let's do some cheersing. I've got my coffee here. I am quite excited to drink it. I hope that you guys have a coffee, water, beer, tea, whatever your bag is on a morning. I hope you've got it, because cheers to you guys. Rise and grind. Boop, right there. Let's get the day started off right. Alrighty then. Well, you guys know how we started off here. And that would be with a shout out to Prize Picks, the presenting sponsor of this show. If you use the promo code Awesemo when you sign up at Prize Picks, you can get up to $100 on your first deposit. We've got free player prop tools on Awesemo.com that will help you out at Prize Picks. You're not worrying about sharks and optimizers. You're just picking player props on your own and basically building parlay cards. That's what you should be looking to do. And if you want to put in $100, if you've got that right now, you can get that matched with another 100. That is a great little starting bankroll boost. And we have free tools on the website that help you out. So check it out. Have I read the quote from the DraftKings CEO? The quote about not trying to get people that are good at it or whatever, something in that neighborhood. If that's the one, yes. If not, no. Alrighty, I'm diving in quick because it's a 3-gamer. We don't have too much that we need to stretch out here. So, Utah Jazz, 3.5-point favorites in Philly, 217 total. Q tag on Mike Conley, Q tag on Hassan Whiteside. This is actually very important because we've seen in the past Mike Conley sitting on back-to-backs. Now, that did not happen here from the 26th to the 27th, and they haven't had one otherwise since then. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. However, something to keep our eye on, because if Mike Conley gets ruled out, Donovan Mitchell looks better, Jordan Clarkson looks better, Joe Ingles looks better. It has a very big trickle-down effect on the rest of today's slate. Now, for right now, we're leaving him in. especially coming off the back-to-back. But this is going to be one we're going to know relatively early. On the Sixers side, it appears that everybody is healthy. So let's move forward for this. Ryan, no, I am not DeColts. That would be Steve Buzzard, also an Awesemo.com employee. So we're starting it off relatively easily. We haven't seen Hassan Whiteside the past 2 games. The question is, do we see him today? What do we know right now? Left glute contusion. Didn't play yesterday, obviously. Well, I mean, I guess we kind of have to just assume that he's going to play today. But if he doesn't, we certainly have a couple extra minutes to go around. Also have to sneeze. Whew. There's something about a good sneeze at 6:36 a.m. that really gets you started. Really opens up the day. All right, so I've got Donovan Mitchell in for 34 minutes. I've got Mike Conley in for 29 minutes. I've got Jordan Clarkson in for 26. Joe Ingles in for 24. Royce O'Neal in for 31. That actually probably needs to go up a minute. Rudy Gay in for 18. I think his minutes are artificially a little bit high. Well, maybe they're not. Feels like they're artificially a little bit higher than they should be. Maybe we do something like 13 to Whiteside, 20 to Rudy Gay. How good is coffee? Got Rudy Gay in for 33, but in this spot, I actually feel like it should be 34. So I'm going to bump him up another minute. That seems good enough. Let's scope out rates just to make sure nothing weird has happened, but it's the Jazz. It so rarely does. Oh. A little sluggish this morning. So I ended up going to a buddy's house yesterday to watch wrestling, and he made some roast pork sandwiches. Oh my God, were they so good. But I'm eating a gigantic roast pork sandwich is dragging my ass. Jokic was 5% on FanDuel, eh? Cool. I would have had 30-something percent. That's a shame. That's a shame. All right. Bojan Bogdanovic usage rate this year, 21.7. Donovan Mitchell, 32.7. Jordan Clarkson, 27.4. Mike Conley, 19.5. Royce O'Neal, 10.5. Rudy Gobert, 17.5. Huge rebounding rate, though, which is kind of crazy. Oh, yeah, I forgot Durant got ruled out earlier in the day. Even still, I would have had a lot of Jokic. I have basically every day. I'm sure he's not going to go crazy tonight when I do get him again. Let's see. Bojan. No other rates. Donovan Mitchell. No other rates to change. Jordan Clarkson. Good. All the other positional rates should be basically spot on for this team. Rudy Gobert's rebounding this year has been insane. But I don't have too much else here. So let's switch it over to Philly. Be interesting, Jeff. Anxious to see it. That's good, Jimmy Jam. Yeah, I was a little surprised. They were like 70-30 on MJF yesterday, which was kind of surprising. I wanted him to get like a true hero's welcome, and that just didn't happen that way, which was kind of a shame. The tease with Punk to start was fun. All right, on to Philly. Nobody wants to hear my AEW takes. So this is just full strength Philly. We get exactly what we saw yesterday. That's the expectation, at least. So we've got 10-man rotation. See no reason to think that 34 minutes for Maxi is like a huge problem, but at the same time, maybe it is. Let me take a look at that rotation from yesterday, since I don't really have a clue what happened for Philly. So, is that a foul thing? No. So they brought Maxi or Milton on for the final 2 minutes. I don't know why. I mean, Maxi's just staring like a 28-minute rotation in the face. I don't know why it's as low as it is. Maybe just from coming back, so. Let's knock him down to 32. Give those 2 extra minutes to shake. We've got Korkmaz. Man, Korkmaz just playing less and less as of late. More and more shake, I guess. $34 minutes for Embiid feels fine. 34 minutes for Tobias Harris feels fine. Thibault is pretty stuck in around 24 minutes, although it has been a little bit lighter as of late. Danny Greens have been a little bit heavier, so let's go 22 and 26. That should cover me for Philly, and I know I don't have to make any changes here. DFIC, it's kind of both. For the Jazz, I just look at whatever their season rate is. I have my personal projected rate from my model as well. Generally speaking, those two things are going to be close, and I just sort of like split the difference. But for a team like the Jazz, I don't have to dig in all that much. Like, their shit doesn't change. All right, let's start it off. First team, Utah Jazz. And just looking at it right now, Gobert and Mitchell are obviously the priorities here. They're pretty much equal to each other relative to site and salary. Again, if Mike Conley happens to get ruled out, we're going to see $3,900 Joe Ingles on DraftKings look pretty good. We're going to see Jordan Clarkson pop up quite a bit more. But as of right now, it's Gobert and Mitchell as priorities. And then you rotate through Royce O'Neal, Boyan, Mike Conley, Jordan Clarkson, to a lesser extent, Joe Ingles. That's not news. On the Philly side, we've got Joel Embiid, 10-6 on FanDuel, $11K on DraftKings. I think he looks pretty good. We've got Tobias Harris, 7,600 on DraftKings, also looking quite good. I'm going to happily get to some Tyrese Maxey today. We'll see if anybody joins me. 32 minutes seems about reasonable here. Curry and Danny Green are the other two major options. Maybe Matisse Thybulle for 3,200 on DraftKings. Let's get down to the old summary tables here. There we go. Yeah, so Embiid and Harris on DraftKings are the top two options coming out in this game, and then it's Embiid on FanDuel, and then you get a tier of Gobert and Mitchell. Game one in the books. 92 viewers, 42 likes. That means 50 of you have not hit that like button yet. What you waiting on? Help a brother out here. Lake Show. Taking on the Grizz. Lakers are 3-point favorites in Memphis, 222 total. On the Lakers side of this one, Looks like we just got everybody in like normal. On the Memphis side, still no Ja. Q tag on Kyle Anderson, Brandon Clark, and Zaire Williams. So we'll start on the Lakers side. 36 minutes for Russ, 36 minutes for LeBron, 36 minutes for Anthony Davis. What did Boucher do yesterday? Chris Boucher played 22 minutes and had 24 fantasy points, so he was useless. Cool. All right. So the rest of the Lakers, I want to take out everybody else's minutes here, just to make sure that I'm doing this stuff right. All right. So Dwight played 35 minutes on Tuesday, 21 minutes past Friday, and then 12 and a half minutes last night. I'm not going to give him 20. I'd like to give him... I mean, 20's not like the craziest idea if you want to just put him in there against Steven Adams the entire time. But I do want to knock that down to 18. And then bump up LeBron at the 4. So now let's really think this through. So we've got Carmelo Anthony averaging about 26 minutes a game over his last chunk, but a little bit lighter than that. So I'm going to say 24 on Melo. We've got Russ in for 36, which is easy. Then we get Malik Monk in for... Dude's minutes are all over the place, but they usually come back down when Avery Bradley is available. So let's say something like 20 for Malik Monk. And then we get Avery Bradley in for 24. That lets me get Wayne Ellington in for about 16. And then Talen Horton-Tucker plays, I don't know, 28. I think that works for me. I know my rates are correct. I know that I don't have to make those changes. So, I mean, unsurprisingly, Anthony Davis will be my preferred Laker option, as he is basically every single day. I just don't know what the prices are yet today. So for Memphis played yesterday as well. They had still no Kyle Anderson, Zaire Williams, Brandon Clark. I think it's probably in our best interest to read those blurbs to see if either one of those guys are going to be potentially playing today. So Zaire Williams, I'm going to assume he's out. Brandon Clark has missed 3 straight. I'm going to assume he's out. Kyle Anderson, I'm going to assume he's out as well. Yeah, I'm just going to go with the same rotation that we just had for yesterday. So we get 31 minutes to Tyus Jones. Honestly, I think we're probably getting close to the point where we might want to go to 32. 3 straight like that. So I'm going to go to 32. Actually, I want to scratch this entire rotation. I think that's just easier since we have time. Yeah, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that Anthony Davis doesn't give a shit what Charles Barkley thinks, which is exactly how he should feel. Past 3 games, Steven Adams playing bigger minutes. I'm gonna go to 29 here for today, and then we'll do something in the neighborhood of maybe 12 minutes for Tillman. Then we get Jaren Jackson playing a couple there at the biggie. Put him in for 30. 31? 30? 30 works. 30 works. We need to get Killian Tilly sometime, unfortunately. That's a thing that has to happen. Sorta. We'll handle him last. So let's finish off D'Anthony Melton, who gets 16 there at the 1. And then something to 24. So call it 8. We'll call it 9. We'll give him 25. We'll get Bane in there for his pretty standard issue 33. We'll get Dylan Brooks in there for his pretty standard issue 33. Nope, that's too many. That's 33. All right, so I have 46 minutes left over for Conchar, Aldama, Tilly. So we'll say Conchar gets... Oh, man, this dude's minutes are all over the map. Let's say something like 18. We'll give Aldama 11. All right, that leaves me way too many minutes for Killian Tilly. So who needs more? Because I don't want to give Killian Tilly 16. We'll give Tillman 14. That seems about right now. Seven to 7, Joe. Glad you were able to stop in and say hi, though. It's good to see you. I think Jaren Jackson's price is broken. Because, I don't understand why his price isn't changing. So let's not forget here, just so that people see, because Jaren Jackson's going to pop up as what I think to be the best play today. With no Ja Morant on the floor this season, Jaren Jackson's got a 29.7% usage rate in 330 minutes. And that's massive. Doesn't appear that anybody's hopping on that train either. So let's look at this one quickly. Now, for the Lakers, we know what we're getting here. Anthony Davis is very clearly my preferred option. He's just been a better fantasy performer this year. 10K on FanDuel, 10K on DraftKings. We've got LeBron, 10-4 on FanDuel, 10-1 on DraftKings. He would be second for me. And then you get Russ, 9,600, 9,900. He would be third. I think Talen Horton-Tucker is viable, 5,100 on FanDuel, 5,500 on DraftKings. For Memphis, unquestionably, Jaren Jackson, 6,200 on FanDuel. Number one contender today, barring any news in Denver and San Antonio that I'm not aware of. But 6,200, power forward center, and a 29% usage rate with no Morant. That's just the dude you should have today. He's going to be massively owned. Totally makes sense. Dylan Brooks looks exceptional across both sites. Desmond Bane looks good across both sites. Tyus Jones looks really good across both sites. Steven Adams looks good on FanDuel, great on DraftKings. D'Anthony Melton is 4,600 on DraftKings, looks good. We got to remember that in this matchup, the Memphis Grizzlies are the 9th fastest team in basketball. The Lakers are 3rd. This is a very, very fast game. You get more possessions per minute, which means people's per minute rates should go up. Per minute fantasy rates should go up. This is a fantastic spot for Memphis. Love the Grizzlies today. Now let's close it out. Denver at San Antonio. Nuggets are 1-point favorites in San Antonio, 214 total. We've got no Jamal Murray, no Austin Rivers. So we did get Bones Highland back yesterday. I am going to have to update this rotation. I never got to Denver for my updates yesterday. They went to OT. So we got Jokic in for 34 minutes. Sounds good to me. Jermichael Green gets the backup run. 30 minutes for Jeff Green. That'll work. Zeke Naji played 7 minutes. okay. Let's knock that down a bit then. Get him down to 14. Yeah, I agree with Christopher Hooks. Hit that like button. Half of you have not done so yet. We got Aaron Gordon in for 34 minutes. I got Will Barton in for 34 minutes. That's fine. 31 for Monty Morris. I'm going to make that 32 for right now. Campazzo back down to 22. That's where I'm going to put him. 22. I'm going to take Reed's minutes away so that I can get Bones Highland in for 18. And Reed gets 8. Easy on Denver. Easy game. I do need to give Jeff Green his usage rate for whatever the hell situation this is. So that's going to be no Porter. $16.5. That works. No real changes here. Should bump Aaron Gordon down a bit. Jokic with no Michael Porter on the floor this year. 34% usage rate, 11% assist rate, 11.8 actually, 17% rebounding rate. That's asinine. All right, that'll work. Will Barton, 21.9. Let's give him a little bit of a bumpsy. 6 and 3. That's fine. Denver's going to look good. Jokic, Aaron Gordon, Will Barton. Because remember, San Antonio plays pretty quick too. So this is a big... And Denver's the slowest team in the league. So Denver is dead last in pace this year. San Antonio is 10th. So they are slowing down a little bit. But even still, they're going to gain a couple possessions for this game. Let's close it out with San Antonio. And for the Spurs, we've got doubtful tag on Keldon Johnson, doubtful tag on Devin Vassell. That's actually very interesting to me because of how much Keldon Johnson I normally play. So let's think about this for a second. Because obviously he rolled his ankle on Tuesday. But since they didn't play yesterday, those doubtful tags are real for right now, if I'm correct in thinking. So, yeah. Keldon Johnson, doubtful. Vassell, doubtful. So the interesting piece about Thad, at least earlier this year, is that he hadn't played any time at the 4. So I don't know where we're going to go here. Where was that game? That was the New York game. Josh Primo is the guy that came in for Keldon Johnson when he got hurt in the second half. I think that's interesting. So let's walk through this a bit. Because we know we have to take Keldon Johnson's minutes out. I'm going to take Thad's minutes out. I'm going to take everybody's minutes out except for the guys that play a ton and play at normal positions. So we've got DeJounte Murray in for 35 minutes. Yes. We've got Derek White in for 33 minutes. Yes. We've got Jakob Poeltl in for 30 minutes. Yes. But let's think this through. So last time out, Thad Young did not play. Back out of the rotation once again on Tuesday. They went straight to Drew Eubanks. Don't know what the plan's going to be there moving forward, but I'm going to assume that that's happening again. Now, this is the big piece. This is the key piece of San Antonio that we need to understand for today. If you put Thad Young on the floor this season for the San Antonio Spurs, you will note nowhere in this list do you see the name Drew Eubanks or Jakob Poeltl. Thad Young has not played a single minute alongside either one of the other two centers. So for you to assume that Thad Young is going to play today, we have to assume that he's doing something he has not done this season. If you see Thad Young projected for minutes anywhere in this industry today, our site included, we have to be going with the assumption that Thad Young is going to be doing something that he has not done this year. That is not to say that it cannot happen. However, we have no reason to suspect that Greg Popovich is going to play Thad Young next to one of the two centers. So the question is, does Drew Eubanks take that same 15 minutes that he did on Tuesday and see Thad Young left out on the cold? Or does Thad Young play anything at the 4? My assumption right now is that we don't see Thad Young play more than 2 minutes, 4 minutes at the 5 specifically, and that he is not in the rotation. I don't expect to see him next to Drew Eubanks or Jakob Poeltl. So what I'm going to do is give Drew Eubanks his sort of normal 16 minutes of run. I'll probably give Thad Young 2 minutes of spillover time because I don't want to forget to talk about it. And now I want to pull up Cleaning the Glass and see who they call the 2s, 3s, and 4s on this team, because I don't really know the size of everybody. I mean, I do, but I don't know it from a rotational standpoint. So let's take Keldon Johnson off. So let's see here. We want to go and make sure that Trey Jones gets his backup point guard run. So let's put that in right now. We know that we've got Derek White at the 2. Actually, technically speaking, I guess it's Derek White at the 1. Backup. Man, itchy. Lonnie Walker needs to get his chunk of time at the 2. We're going to call that... God, this dude just plays the dumbest rotations. I'm going to go with 22 for right now. We know McBuckets largely plays at the 4, I believe. Yes. So we'll go ahead and slot in McDermott for... I mean, he basically plays 25 to 26 minutes a game. I'm going to go to 25. In theory, he could play more with no Keldon Johnson, but let's figure it out first. Bryn Forbes plays about 20 minutes a game. In theory, we need to get those at the 2 and bump Lonnie Walker even further. So let's give him... I mean, that's really hard to do. So let's just give him 20 minutes right there. That leaves us 44 minutes for Keita Bates-Diop, Josh Primo. So let's give Primo here at 16. We'll give Keita Bates-Diop 18. So that right there is a 10-man rotation, and I have 10 minutes left over. We had 11 guys play on Tuesday. That makes sense. They added one after Keldon Johnson, which was basically Josh Primo. Game before that, it was basically a 10-man rotation. They just split the backup center. So I don't think that I could add anybody else here. Those 10 minutes need to be allocated somewhere, which means we have one or two options. DeJounte Murray is not the guy that gets more playing time, nor is Derek White, nor is Jakob Poeltl. I don't believe Doug McDermott is going to get any additional time. I guess in theory he could. So that'll take it to 9 minutes. What we need to figure out is who actually gets the boost. I don't see any scenario where it's Trey Jones. So it's either Lonnie Walker, Bryn Forbes, Josh Primo, Keita Bates-Diop. Lonnie Walker seems like the most likely scenario. I don't totally know if I can project that. So we're going to take him up to 24 minutes. Well, we're going to go to 25. We're going to take Primo to 18. No, to 19. We're going to take Diop to 19. That leaves me 2 left over. I am going to give those extra 2 minutes to... Oh, they have Jock Landale up now, too. That's funny. I'm just going to leave 4 in for Thad Young for right now. I think that's fine. Yeah, I think that's fine. Because it's Murray, White, McDermott, Pirtle going to be in the lineup. The question is going to be who's going to start for Keldon Johnson. I actually wouldn't... Ooh, okay. So at the beginning of this, I said that Josh Primo was the guy that came on for Keldon Johnson. I was wrong. It was Keita Bates-Diop. I read the wrong line. That changes my equation on what I'm doing here. I think Keita Bates-Diop then starts for Keldon Johnson today. But I don't think that he's likely to close. I think that can just be a hot hand scenario. But at the same time, I want to be able to get him up to like 21 minutes. 22 minutes. Yeah. Yeah, that makes the most sense to me. Now, Keldon Johnson has actually had a pretty sizable usage rate this season, which means it's actually oddly interesting to take him off and see what the impact is. So, with no Keldon Johnson on this year, DeJounte Murray, no real change in his rates. Assist rate does go up a little bit. Otherwise, I'm holding true. Derek White does see a bit of a usage bump. I'm going to give him that usage bump. Doug McDermott, with no Keldon Johnson on the floor, has played 103 minutes, 16.5% usage rate. That's not ideal. I had him in at 16.5 before. It's going to have to stay there. Jakob Poeltl, no Keldon Johnson, 16.5% usage rate. Big time assist rate, too, on Jakob Poeltl, which I don't think is going to be like a change that I actually make. Keita Bates-Diop, no real usage to speak of. And then Lonnie Walker, 23.5% usage rate. Looks like Lonnie Walker is the guy that gets the biggest bump from a usage perspective. So that, I think, locks down San Antonio. No, there's no need to take Vassell off, Jeff. All right, on the Denver side, I love Jokic at 11-1. The center talent here today, Gobert, Embiid, AD, Steven Adams is underpriced for his role. Jokic, Jakob Poeltl, like every single one of these teams has a good center. It's crazy. Jokic looks great. Aaron Gordon, I think, looks pretty good. 5,500 on FanDuel, 6,100 on DraftKings. Will Barton's solid. You can get to Monty Morris. On the Spurs side, no real priorities. DeJounte Murray is the best option across both sites. Jakob Poeltl not too far behind, but center is obviously very difficult. And then Derek White, 6,300 on DraftKings looks really good. 7,900 on FanDuel looks significantly less good. Lonnie Walker for 3,700 on DraftKings is at least somebody we got to pay attention to. But let's run some crunches. I don't know what this is going to look like today. Thank you guys for being here. 14 more people need to hit that like button so we can get up to 100. That would be great. So first one up, FanDuel optimal lineups. And we have Tyus Jones, Jordan Clarkson, Desmond Bane, Dylan Brooks, Tobias Harris, Will Barton, Jaren Jackson, Aaron Gordon, and Nikola Jokic. That's not at all what I was expecting, but I'm not shocked that there are 4 Grizzlies in there. In particular, those 4 Grizzlies. That's a very balanced build with Nikola Jokic in there at the top of the heap. That's what happens when you have Nikola Jokic projected for 1.71 fantasy points per minute in this spot. Now, power rankings on FanDuel. I mean, no surprises that Jaren Jackson's at the top by a mile because he is. I mean, he's probably going to end up in every lineup that I have today, unless the ownership just gets up into like the 80s or high 70s. But, I mean, he's very clearly the best play on FanDuel today. It's not close. 69.6% of all the lineups that I crunched so far. Dylan Brooks is 2. Tyus Jones is 3. Aaron Gordon, AD, Will Barton, Donovan Mitchell, Tobias Harris, DeJounte Murray, Desmond Bane. That's everybody north of 30%. So that's the power rankings on FanDuel for right now. Let's check out DraftKings now. This is another spot where I have no idea what's going to happen. Actually, let's look back at FanDuel quickly. I want to see what the distribution for centers ended up being. So it was huge stand on Jaren Jackson, medium stand on AD, Jokic, Embiid, Pirtle, Steven Adams, Rudy Gobert. Okay. On DraftKings, optimal lineup. What do we got? That's 5 Grizzlies. Tyus Jones, Desmond Bane, Danny Green, Jaren Jackson, Steven Adams, Lonnie Walker, Dylan Brooks, Nikola Jokic. 5 Grizzlies in my optimal by 1.3 points, too. That's a wild one. That's a really wild one. Or you can drop down. You can get off of Tyus. Nope, it's not Tyus Jones. You can get off of Desmond Bane, turn him into Melton. You turn Danny Green into Tobias Harris. You turn Jokic into Murray. That's available for you, too. Power rankings on DraftKings. No surprise who's at the top here. Very, very clearly, Jaren Jackson Jr. Jeremy, good morning. Steven Adams, Tyus Jones, Dylan Brooks, DeAnthony Melton. All 5 guys from the Grizzlies here are at the top of the power rankings on DraftKings. Then you get to, and they're the only guys north of 30%. Then you get to AD, Tobias Harris, Lonnie Walker, Danny Green, Derek White. Look at that. Got to get the Grizzlies right tonight, people. That's the big one. Great take there, Bob. Really helpful. But still, even when you look at this, even if I say that the 5 best plays are Grizzlies, the most likely scenario in an optimal lineup is that you have 2 of them. Which 2 will it be? That's the trivia question. That is, I didn't expect all 5 to be there and Bane to tumble a little bit. But, you know, Bane's up to 6,900 now. Melton on DraftKings down to 4,600. Looks pretty interesting. DraftKings looks hard today. And FanDuel looked ugly. but there's no real way to get away from Jaren Jackson at the top across both sites. He's just not priced where he should be for what he does with no Morant. It's a scary matchup, but it all makes sense to me. So that's 3 games up, 3 games down. Power rankings in the books. I don't have anything else here, folks. I think we're done. This is a fun slate. I like the balance. What are the times for tip-off today? We've got Utah Philly at 7. And I'm on the deeper dive tonight, by the way. Utah Philly at 7. Lakers Grizzlies at 8. And then Denver San Antonio at 8:30. So we don't have like a true late night hammer, which is nice. That's always good to see. It never sucks to be able to like get away from your computer by 8:30. Let's see. Lakers this season free throw rate 18th. Okay. I was hoping that they were like just shockingly bad at getting to the line, but they're completely average. So I think that's probably it, folks. I think it's time to pack it in. I'm excited for this slate. As I mentioned, contenders videos will be out relatively shortly. I am not on the strategy show on Thursdays. That would be Greg. So you'll get Greg and Adam today. And then I will be on the deeper dive from 5 to 6, breaking it all down with Adam. That's all I got. So good luck tonight, everybody. Win some money. Enjoy yourselves. Hit that like button if you haven't done it already. We're back again tomorrow, closing out the work week, 6:30 a.m. Eastern time on The Process. Adios, everybody.